Hey guys, it's Rachel here, and today I'm going to be filming for you guys my January wrap-up. I had a really good reading month for the start of the year. I was kind of nervous that I wasn't going to get a whole lot of reading done, and I ended up doing a lot of reading. And I did reading in a multitude of different fashions, which makes me even more happy. I read 3 physical books, I listened to 2.5 audiobooks, I read 1 short story, and I read 1 graphic novel. So I read a good mix of things this month, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about them. So the first thing that I read this month was actually a book that I ended up finishing, and that's going to be Written and Read by Anne Bishop, and this is the first book in the Others series by Anne Bishop, and I ended up reading this with Riley from Riley Marie 1196, and I loved this. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Now, at the start of the story, I wasn't really enjoying it, but as the progression with the story came, I ended up falling in love, and I can't wait to read the next book in the series, and I actually own it already, and I hauled it in my last video, so I can't wait to get to it. If you guys don't know what Written and Read is about, it is about our main character who is a blood prophet, and what that means is basically if you cut her, then she has prophecy. She can see into the future essentially, so this makes her a very valuable person. And our main character's name is Meg, and at the start of our story she is escaped from this like camp that she was in, kind of, and she finds sanctuary with a group of the indigenous people called the Others, and they are shapeshifters, and it is so awesome, and the story progresses from there. And yeah, I guess I will say that there is some a trigger warning for self-harm, but it is so good. I can't recommend this enough. It was a really quick read, really fun to read, and I can't wait to continue with the series. And then the next book that I read this month is going to be The Only Thing We Have to Fear by Caroline Tung Richmond, and this follows a main character named Zara, and Zara lives in a post-World War II, and the events of the war are quite different from what historically really happened. In this world, Hitler and the Axis powers basically won the war, and it is really good. It's very short, and it was fun to read. This is speculative young adult fiction, so again, this is what would have happened, or in this world Hitler did win, and the world that they're living in, the America that they're living in, is living in deep oppression, and our main character is actually mixed race. She is mixed between an American and Japanese, and it is really good. I really enjoyed reading this story, and I really recommend it for somebody who really likes speculative young adult fiction. There is not a whole lot that happens in the story. A lot of it is spent on like history. So in the first book, the author is like giving most of the history, going back to how it was that Nazi Germany ended up winning, and it's really interesting. I do really like the love interest in this story, and I wish there would have been a little bit more romance in it, surprisingly, and I will be continuing with it just to see where it goes. And so overall I did enjoy this, and I think I gave this a 3.5 or 4 stars. The next thing that I did was I listened to an audiobook, and that's going to be Yes Please by Amy Poehler, and this is my first audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun listening to Amy Poehler talk. I love Amy Poehler. I loved her in Mean Girls, and I really love Amy Poehler. She's so funny, and it was really interesting to listen to. Yes Please, she narrates it herself, so you really feel like you're talking to her, you're listening to her, and she does such a great job, especially when she's talking about different aspects of her life. And oh my god, her sex advice, Amy Poehler's world sex advice is just so fantastic, and she has so many different amazing people narrating in there with her, like Patrick Stewart, and it is so great, and I really enjoyed this, and I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend this if you want to listen to a really good audiobook. And then the next one that I listened to another audiobook, and that's going to be Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. And now this one is another one that is narrated by the author, so it is narrated by Tina Fey, and I unfortunately did not enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed Yes Please. I feel like I should have listened to Bossy Pants before I listened to Yes Please, because it's a whole different kind of feel. In Yes Please, she's super personable, super funny, has a lot of fun, and in Bossy Pants it's not as, I guess, fun as it was, and a lot of the times I was kind of confused as to what the point of the story was. There's a lot of feministic stuff in it, and which is not a bad thing. But I enjoyed Bossy Pants. I think it gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't terrible. I did enjoy it, and I understand its importance as far as and its significance as far as audiobooks go. So I will give it that, but it wasn't my favorite listen of the month. Then the next thing that I read is going to be The Martian by Andy Weir, and oh my god, this is king. This is my favorite read of the month. It was so fantastic. I had such a good time reading this. This follows a main character named Mark Watney, and Mark Watney is basically suffers a tragic accident when he is on Mars with his crewmates, and they leave him there thinking that he is dead, when in reality he has not died. He's just unconscious, and he wakes up, and I think 6 days later, and he finds out that he is on Mars and he's alone, and he must find a way to survive. This is told in multiple perspectives, in Mark's perspectives, his crewmates' perspectives, the media perspectives, NASA's perspective. It's so many perspectives, but it is so great. And even then, there's another perspective in here that's like an outside looking in kind of perspective, like a kind of future perspective, and it's so great. Like, oh my god, this was so good. You go through an emotional roller coaster when you're reading this book. You go through the highs and the lows of someone who's in this type of situation where there's seriously, when he's feeling hopeless, you feel hopeless. When he's feeling like things are gonna happen, you feel like something's gonna happen. And it was so great. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it, and oh my god. In fact, another cool thing is that Andy Weir did an AMA on Reddit, and I will see if I can find it and link it down below. And in this, he names his next book, which is a more traditional science fiction book that has to do with aliens and stuff, and I can't wait to read it, and I can't wait for it to come out. And yes, this was so good. I highly recommend this. If you don't read any other book that I mentioned this month, go read The Martian. And the next book that I read this month is going to be a short story, and this is going to be The Egg, and this is by Andy Weir. I just couldn't get over the fact that I wanted to read more of Andy Weir's writing style, so I found a short story, and I found this on Goodreads, so I will go ahead and link it down below. It'll take you to the website where I read the short story, and it is really good too. I don't want to explain to you guys what the short story is about, and that's because it is seriously it's just a couple paragraphs long, and I think it's really good for you to read it yourself. It really makes you think. It's very thought-provoking and really good. It's written so amazingly, just like in perfect writing style like Andy Weir when he was writing The Martian, and I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend this if you want a good, quick, short story to listen to. The next thing that I read this month is going to be my graphic novel choice of the month, and that was Alex and Ada, and this is going to be by Jonathan Luna and Sarah Vaughn, and this is the first graphic novel of Alex and Ada. This is volume 1, and I really enjoyed this. This follows our main character named Alex, and Alex is kind of still dealing with loss. He has gotten out of a relationship, and it was a relationship that has ended quite some time ago, but he's still in the downs about it. He's still depressed about it, and his grandmother decides for his birthday to give him a robot, an artificial intelligent robot, and in this world that he lives in, we are so progressed in the future where robots are a thing, AI are a thing, and this is his struggle with deciding whether he wants to keep his Ada or not, and if he's okay with the fact that she is not a sentient being. Was really beautifully done. I absolutely love the panels. I love the colors. I love everything about this. It is done in very cool tone colors, and it's really fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. Here's one of the pictures, and I really do recommend this if you like kind of a sci-fi, futuristic, artificial intelligence type story. I will just warn you though that this is kind of slow progressing, so if you're looking for something that's super action-packed, this is not going to be it, but I really did enjoy this. And then finally, I listened to over half of Mindy Kaling's Is Everyone Hanging Out With Me, and this was sent to me by my lovely friend Lindsay from Angelic Audacity, and yeah, I loved this. I really enjoyed this. I ended up finishing it in February, so this will be in my February wrap-up, but I did read over half of it this month, and I really enjoyed this, and I really recommend it if you like Mindy Kaling. Yeah, other than that, that is all that I read this month. I had a really good reading month, like I said, and I can't wait to see what February has for me. And yes, I will say that I am currently reading I Was Here by Gail Foreman. This is her newest book. This came out on January 27th, and I am about 50 pages in, around 50 pages in, and I am enjoying it so far. And I am still currently reading Pieces of Revenge by Abadia Lind. Other than that, thanks guys so much for commenting, liking, subscribing, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!